Out of the gates and ready to go. Welcome into this live edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. Coming up on today's show, we'll go over the latest news and rumors on your Seattle Seahawks as we'll discuss the possibility of a DK Metcalf trade to the Kansas City Chiefs and the idea of signing Emmanuel Ogbah in NFL free agency. Also, we will look at the top 10 players to watch in Seahawks OTAs. And we will ask 5 burning questions for Mike McDonald and John Schneider at OTAs, as well as answer your news and rumors mailbag questions at the end of today's show as well. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of the show. Shout out your city. We'll shout you out as we're out of the gates and firing here on this Wednesday afternoon. It's our Wednesday happy hour. Jonesy here. Smitty is back here with me as well. We'll bring him in coming up in just a few moments. But want to give you this update while you guys shout out your city and we get this show started. We did receive an update from Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald just a few moments ago. He spoke to the media at OTAs and described the process of where things are at right now. Second day of install, said about 20% of the Seahawks defense has been installed. Players are having some trouble with checks at OTAs, according to McDonald. So that's the last update we got. If we get more updates, then we'll pass those along to you throughout the afternoon today as day number 2 of OTAs going on right now in Renton, Washington. And we'll continue to keep you posted what's going on there throughout today's show. Shout out your city. We'll shout you out. I got Jackson in Toronto. Seth says, welcome back, Smitty. Renna says Spokane. Good to see you guys in the house. Let us know where you're at. I got Jordan in Plano, Texas, just up the road from us here at the Chat Sports Studios in downtown Dallas, Texas. Let us know where you're at. Got Kenneth in Albuquerque. Nicholas says hi. Hawk says Sam isn't better than Gino. That's ridiculous. I don't know who said that, but okay. Oh, Renna said that. Okay. And that's our poll question right now. Do you believe in Sam Howell? 71% of you say yes, 29% say no. Who's a breakout player that you're watching for from your Seattle Seahawks this offseason? Who's a guy that's got your attention? Tell us in the chat right now somebody that you think is going to step up, whether it's a new player for the Seahawks, maybe it's a second or third year guy, maybe it's a rookie. I don't know. Give me a name that comes to mind as Tyler Smitty joins me right now. Smitty, welcome back to Seahawks Today. I know you've been busy with some Celtic stuff the last couple of weeks. They're in the Eastern Conference Finals. Big win last night.
Big win last night.
Tell me, who is a breakout player that comes to mind for you for this Seahawks team?
As for the group that we have coming in, right, this incoming free agency group, the Seahawks didn't necessarily make the biggest splashes of all of teams in free agency, right? But they did make some moves around the margins that I'm particularly encouraged about. And one player that I'm looking for to break out big time this season is Terrell Dodson, the off-ball linebacker coming over from the Buffalo Bills. He played in relief of All-Pro linebacker Matt Milano last season in Buffalo, and his coverage numbers were out of this world.
Yeah, best coverage linebacker in the NFL last year.
Best coverage linebacker in the NFL after taking over for Milano. So I believe that was about week 5. It was in the early weeks. It was in the single-digit weeks, and then through the end of the season. So at least 8 or 9 weeks of really good ball out of Terrell Dodson. I think for a Seahawks linebacking group that was not particularly proficient against the pass last season, he's somebody that I'm looking forward to counting on, as well as mentoring some of the younger guys like a Tyrese Knight, who was just drafted to be an off-ball linebacker in Seattle as well.
Check it in on the chat now. Ken says Byron Murphy. Nicholas says DK Metcalf. I don't know how DK could break out at this point. He arguably is the best player on this roster. Robert says Kenny McIntosh. That's a good answer. We're going to talk about Kenny McIntosh today, actually. Hux Rock says Gino's fine. Throws a great deep ball. Paratoxic Film says Boye Mafe. Smitty, real quick on Boye Mafe. I really liked the season that he had for the most part last year, but I think he's still got another step to take, another big step ahead of him, and I think that'll happen this year.
I mean, with Mike McDonald at the helm, you can only hope that he's going to help progress Boye Mafe into that next tier of pass rushers, that elite level pass rusher. guys who you can count on to get 9 or more sacks every year, rather than just a 9-sack season, one-off, like maybe our good friend Darrell Taylor had just a couple seasons ago.
Exactly.
Hopefully, yes, Mike McDonald can propel Boye Mafe to the next level because he showed flashes. He had that 6-7 week stretch where he had a sack in each game, and I'm hoping that he can only progress on that with the depth that Seattle has added along the defensive line and at the edge position.
What Seahawks game are you most excited about this season? We know the schedule now. That was revealed a week ago, all 17 games. Which one has your attention that all eyes are on? Smitty, I'll say this much. Big announcement for the folks out there. I was not, didn't tease this or nothing. You guys are finding out for the very first time. Beginning next week right here on Seahawks Today, we're going to do Madden Sims of all 17 games this upcoming season. Smitty, I know you're a big gamer.
Yeah.
We've been playing Madden our entire lives.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get a first-hand glimpse of the Seahawks season on Madden next week and to see all 17 games beginning with that Broncos game a week from today.
I'm very excited to get that started. Looking forward to it. It's funny because you won't know the result of these games or anything that happens in them before we broadcast them live. I will. I'll be the puppet master behind the scenes. Now, I won't be playing. I won't be controlling the Seahawks or anything of the sort. It'll be a full sim with the new rosters. Byron Murphy will be on the defensive line there. All the Seahawks ratings will be progressed just a little bit as to what they're going to do this season. So I'm very excited to get that started. It's going to be a great time, and I'm looking forward to some key matchups that the Seahawks have along their season.
Yeah, and next week we'll get to see the Seahawks face Bo Nix for the first time. We'll get to see Byron Murphy, as you mentioned, make his Seahawks debut. So we'll have that for you. And in addition to that, another exciting announcement beginning next week. We are going live not just once a week, but twice a week, as we'll do a live show now on Wednesdays and Fridays beginning next week, as we will have game number 2 on Friday here on the live show.
I was going to say, because there's a little less than 17 weeks until the actual start of the NFL season.
Right. So we will have the Seahawks-Patriots Week 2 matchup here on the channel on next Friday. So you get 2 live shows beginning next week with the Madden Sims included. So
let's go.
Some exciting stuff on the channel. In that game, Smitty, again, I don't know the results of these Madden Sims.
They haven't even been simmed yet, so I don't either.
But there's no reason why we shouldn't start 2-0 next week.
I agree. We better not have some fluke shit going on. No Madden nonsense making us lose these games.
Yeah.
I don't need Bo Nix getting a Week 1 win over the Seahawks. That would derail the season.
That would be painful. So we're going to begin that next week, so look forward to that. Wednesday and Friday, Madden Sims throughout the rest of the offseason leading up to the preseason here on Seahawks Today.
Tyler, what game are you most excited for this season?
Man, I got to tell you, there's so many to choose from. I always love when the Seahawks take on the Niners with the rivalry game. I would love to see the Seahawks break through.
Yeah.
But of the recent history for twofold, I can't wait for the Lions game because the Seahawks have won 3 straight against Detroit. Detroit's coming off the NFC Championship game. And the last 2 were in Detroit, might I add you, that the Seahawks won the last 2 years.
This one is as well.
I can't wait. Monday night, Joe Buck, the Hall of Famer Troy Aikman on the call. It doesn't get any better than that. And we're going to find out right away how good this Seahawks team is, as that's a great test, great measuring mark there for that Week 4 contest.
Yeah, you do see the Dolphins in Week 3 before that, and they're obviously projected to be a team that's certainly in the playoff mix. But Detroit being that team that, they were 1 win away from the Super Bowl, they were essentially a quarter away from making the Super Bowl last season. So they're one of the NFC's elite. I would take the Lions to beat the Dolphins in a playoff, neutral site, whatever matchup. So that's your first real big test, especially since the Lions reside in the NFC.
Right.
I'm actually looking forward to another NFC North matchup down the stretch, the second to last game on Seattle's schedule, heading to Chicago to play the Chicago Bears. Now, listen, we don't know what Caleb Williams will do in his first 15 weeks of his rookie season. We don't know what position the Chicago Bears are going to be in as far as if they're in the hunt, if they're in contention for that division. But what I will say is, I think they will be in the hunt. I think they will be in contention to make the playoffs, as will Seattle. So that's going to be a massive game.
That's one of my favorite football terms of the NFL, in the hunt.
In the hunt it's unmatched.
There's nothing like seeing a graphic. Steve Kornacki comes on the screen on Sunday Night Football, in the hunt.
In the hunt. Seahawks. They've been there the last couple of seasons. I imagine they'll be there again this year. So you look ahead to Week 17 of the NFL season. You're playing what could be a very successful rookie season from Caleb Williams, but we don't know. We don't know at this point. That Bears roster is pretty set up for him to succeed. I imagine that game will have huge implications down the line.
Yes, and Mark Sanchez in the chat brings up a good point. Hawks could potentially play against 5 rookie quarterbacks. So the Seahawks, it's interesting. They're going to play 11 quarterbacks that have either been to a Pro Bowl or won a playoff game, but they'll also likely play 5 rookie quarterbacks as well.
Yeah.
So it's a mixed bag, if
It's
you will.
interesting because I think they'll do they match up with the Falcons? Because I don't know if Penix will be playing. I don't think they do. They do play the Falcons, so
Right.
I doubt Penix plays in that one. And then they get the Patriots in Week 3.
Week 2.
Oh, Week 2. I'm sorry. I imagine that Drake May won't be starting at that point.
I actually disagree. I think Drake May is going to start Week 1.
Okay.
I do. I'm very high on Drake May myself, though. But we shall see.
shall see.
Let's get to this super chat before we continue with the rest of our build-up portion of the show.
Yeah, sure.
We haven't got to the menu yet. And Detailed Oriented already is getting involved with a $10 super chat, our first of the day.
What up, Detail?
Good to see you, Detail. My prediction for starting record in the first 4 games is 3-1. 4-0 isn't out of the realm of possibility, and I'd still be happy if we're 2-2. Go Hawks. I think detail-oriented, if the Seahawks are 3-1 to begin the year, I would be very satisfied. I can live with 3-1 and feel pretty good about the direction where this team's going forward from here. So, detail-oriented, thanks for that. I owe you a shot for that. You didn't even know what you were buying. Now, we'll pay off accordingly. First time super chatters get the Seahawks chant. $5 super chat, get the old McDonald's song. $10 for taking shots. $20 we'll do the beer smash, Stone Cold Steve Austin style. $50 to do the Seahawks sauce, get sauce with the Seahawks sauce. And then our deal of the day, for every $10 super chat, we owe you a dad joke. Smitty, I got a whole list of dad jokes here for you, so I will pay off this first one. So with that said, here is your first dad joke. You ready for it, Smitty?
Let's go.
All right. Why was Cinderella so bad at soccer?
Because she was missing one of her boots?
She was running away from the ball.
Oh, she was running away from the ball.
Cheers.
That's funny.
So every $10 super chat, you'll get a dad joke and a shot. Sounds like a good deal to me. Thanks for that super chat there, detail-oriented. Much appreciated, my guy.
Oh, I got a great one.
Oh, Smitty will do the next one. So somebody send in a 10 because Smitty says he's got a great $10 super chat. It's $10 dad joke to pay off that we'll get to next. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, let's get the chat popping. I got 60 people watching right now. I know we can do better than that. Let's get this thing going so we can kick up the algorithm a little bit to get more viewers in here to be a part of what we're doing here on this Wednesday afternoon. Spam S in the chat. I want to see as many S's as we can over this next minute. And Smitty's going to shout out all the S's. And let's see who can be the early favorite to be MVP for today's show. So without further ado, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Come on, I got to see him. I got to see some S's in the chat. You guys want to get this thing popping? You guys want to have a party on a Wednesday happy hour? Let's get it moving right here, right now. Spam your S's down in the chat. I already started them up. I haven't seen any S's yet. We got a delayed chat. What's going on here? Seth, Robert, spamming S's early and often. Nicholas Howard, Robert Mena, Alexander Matthews, Steve Studebaker, detail-oriented, Seth K. Aloha.
Keep going. Faster, faster.
Keep him up. Adam Kudma. Nicholas Howard, Alexander Matthews, Seth, Robert.
30 seconds to go. Keep going.
Midnight Sun getting in the mix now. Dalton Linden getting in the mix. Can't be Seth and Robert carrying the whole thing. Let's go. Let's keep it up. Midnight Sun. Gino Smith is in the chat. How you doing, Gino? Should beat OTAs. Adam Kudma. Mr. Phillips. Keep it up. Keep it up. Dalton, Robert, Seth, Adam, Alexander, Gino. Appreciate you guys killing it in the chat right now, getting this thing popping a little bit.
Gino, tell us, how was OTAs today, my guy?
Yeah, hopefully we learned a lot. Inaki.
Hopefully.
Adam.
Good work.
Young G.
Gino, I want an update. How did OTAs go for you today? Your second day in the new offense and everything?
Hell yeah.
Give us an update how things went. I hope things are going well for you. I got 65 people watching, 21 likes. Let's get to 30, and then we'll begin today's show. I need 9 more. I will crack open this Happy Dad, which is actually a Happy Mom, raspberry flavored, when we get to 30 likes. But we need you guys to like the video first. So, Nicholas says, hell, is that the real Geno Smith? It very well could be. I have no reason to think that it's not the real Geno Smith. Geno says, Hal doesn't smile. It scares me. You know, come to think of it, I don't know if I've ever seen Sam Howell smile. Actually. I don't recall vividly the grin from Sam Howell. You might be onto something there. 5 more likes away, then we'll get this show started. While I wait on my 5 likes, let's tell you what's on today's show. We'll go over the latest news and rumors in your Seattle Seahawks, talking DK, Emmanuel Ogbah. I also have the top 10 players to watch at OTAs. Smitty, I know you're a bit younger than me, but do you remember when David Letterman did his top 10 list back in the day on The Light Show?
Oh, I do not.
Oh, those were the days. We'll do a top 10 list, David Letterman style, coming up in just a moment. Also, I got 5 burning questions for the Seattle Seahawks, specifically for Mike McDonald and for John Schneider, as we go through OTAs of where this team stands right now. And then we'll do Q&A mailbag coming up later. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of the show. Like Arazo there, that's a good mailbag question. But you got to use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat, and we'll include it in the mailbag. So throw that in there. Do that again, but with the hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat, we'll put you in the mailbag portion of the show. I need 2 more likes, and then I can crack open this Happy Dad and get this show started. 2 more likes, and then we'll get going here on this Wednesday afternoon. There we go. There's 30 likes. And the Happy Dad is open. Cheers to all the 12s out there. Happy Wednesday to you. Thanks for hanging out with us, enjoying a little happy hour. I know it's still early on the West Coast, but never too early for beer o'clock here on the program as far as I'm concerned. Cheers, my friend. All right. Smitty, we ready? All right. Let's get started with segment 1, news and rumors. Coming up here on today's show. Hawkeye says, what's the deal with DK rumors? Why would we ever trade him? Look, we don't invent the rumors. They're just out there, and we talk about them. We're going to tell you here in just a moment about a rumor that's from Kansas City, actually, involving DK. So that's what we call tease in the biz. Let's go ahead and get started. Our first segment, news and rumors, starts right now. Coming up on today's show, could DK Metcalf be off to Kansas City? We have an interesting trade rumor from the Kansas City Chiefs involving the Seahawks star receiver that we'll get to in just a bit. Also, Emmanuel Ogbah, his name has come up as a potential free agent target for the Seattle Seahawks. We will discuss that possibility and more coming up on today's show. I am merely Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us here on Seahawks Today. I got a little challenge for the 12s out there. How many former Seahawks quarterbacks can you name? Whoever can name the most former quarterbacks. So you better not be naming Geno Smith or Sam Howell. You can name anybody else, though. Whoever names the most, you're going to get a shout-out on a later edition of Seahawks Today sometime in the coming days. Let's see who can come up with the most. Let us know in the comment section. We'll get started with today's show. Could Could DK Metcalf be off to Kansas City and joining the defending Super Bowl champions? The folks at Arrowhead Addict are suggesting the Seahawks that the Kansas City Chiefs make a trade for the Seahawks wide receiver. I know what some of you are thinking right away. Another DK rumor. Here we go. Look, this is coming from the Kansas City folks. We're just the messenger of what they had to say. So don't shoot the messenger here, folks. Let's go ahead and see what Arrowhead Addict had to say about this idea. Even if Rashee Rice plays most of this season, he did his best work out of the slot last year, and if both Xavier Worthy, and Hollywood Brown are better off working in space, the Chiefs could use a physical outside receiver. That is why I am here to argue that the Chiefs should make a huge splash in the coming weeks and trade their 2025 first-round pick to Seattle for DK Metcalf. All right, let me make myself very clear. It ain't happening. I know that the Seahawks situation involving DK's contract, if he were to get traded, it would have to be a post-June 1 trade, which is quickly approaching, by the way, that based on the way his contract situation shaked out, it wasn't going to happen pre-June 1. I know Seattle's desperate for cash, and I know that we're hearing all these outside forces try to push this narrative of a DK trade, right? We knew that the Steelers were talking heavy about what they got to do to get DK Metcalf. And now we're hearing the Kansas City Chiefs as a possibility to make a trade for DK Metcalf and everything that's going on with Rashee Rice and all that. But for the Seahawks' perspective, Seattle's vantage point, it just doesn't make any sense at all to move on from arguably your best player on the entire roster. All right? This is a Seahawks team that is starting a new era with Mike McDonald here, right? And DK is a key piece, a key building block for the future of where the Seahawks want to go. DK needs to be around, folks. So the idea that was thrown out there by Arrowhead Addict here is the Seahawks getting a first-round pick in exchange for DK Metcalf. And I'm just going to tell you this right now. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to be a very good team next year, right? Very well may win the Super Bowl again. And I think they would pretty much guarantee a Super Bowl if you added DK Metcalf, right? So with that in mind, it's not just any first-round pick that I'm getting. I'm probably getting somewhere between the 30 to 32 range, a low-end first-round pick. The Chiefs would win that trade, all right? Because they're guaranteeing themselves a Super Bowl title if they get DK Metcalf. I'm not doing this deal. I'm not trading DK. I'm not settling for a late first-round pick to move on from DK Metcalf, who's been so consistent. I know some of you, I hear it all the time in the comments section, are frustrated with DK's antics, right? And he gets called for all the personal foul penalties, and he lets the emotions get the best of him sometimes. But I'm going to tell you this right now. There's a whole lot more good than there is bad with DK Metcalf. Last year, coming off a season with more than 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns, a career high in yards per reception, 16.9. And this new offense that Ryan Grubb is bringing in, this air raid scheme, I think DK is going to thrive, and there's no reason why I don't think he won't have the best season of his career this upcoming year. So, should the Seahawks trade DK Metcalf? I'm going to give you 2 options here, and 2 options only. One is in for no, a polite way of saying no. Or you could be like how I feel and type H no for hell no. Which one is it? In for no, H in for hell no. Give me your answer of what the Seahawks should do with DK Metcalf. We are going to continue to cover your Seattle Seahawks all offseason long. And in case you missed the announcement, folks, we are going live now, not just once, but twice a week, beginning next week as we debut our new Friday live show, in addition to our Wednesday live show. We'll still bring you all our daily news and rumors. We'll do our watch parties during the season as well. The latest happenings in your favorite team covered each and every day on Seahawks Today. Help us reach our next milestone of 52.5K subscribers. We're going to start doing some Madden Sims as well for the entire Seahawks season with updated rosters and everything. So hop on the bandwagon, subscribe to the channel now, stay up to date here on Seahawks Today. Never miss a moment. You'll be glad you did. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV. Emmanuel Ogbah, could he be on his way to Seattle? The folks at Yardbarker are suggesting that the Seahawks sign the veteran edge rusher in NFL free agency. Listen to this. This is not a huge pressing need because the Seahawks were a top 10 team in sacks in 2023 and have a really good duo in Boye Mafe and Uchenna Nwosu. They also address the defensive line in the draft with Byron Murphy II and have Leonard Williams returning. But you can never have enough good pass rushing depth in the NFL. especially in a division where you have to compete with the offenses of the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams. Now, I look at Emmanuel Ogbah, and he makes a ton of sense as far as I'm concerned. I think he's kind of the perfect Mike Macdonald reclamation project, if you will, right? We've seen Mike Macdonald do a really good job with these cheap veteran pass rushers over the years, from the Justin Houstons to the Kyle Van Noys to the Jadeveon Clowneys of the world. Emmanuel Ogbah fits exactly that prototype that Mike Macdonald's worked with. But where's the money come from, right? I mean, as Tom Cruise once said, show me the money. Where is it? Where are you going to afford Emmanuel Ogbah, even if it's a cheap contract? Because right now your cap space is at negative $255,000. Now, as we've talked about in this program, we expect some extensions to be happening in the near future, like Julian Love, DK Metcalf, among others. So you could find that money pretty fast, but you got to free up some money before you can sign a guy like Ogbah. So we'll talk more about Ogbah here in just a second, but I want to hear from you guys. Do you like the idea of Emmanuel Ogbah coming to Seattle? Type S for sign, P for pass. Let us know if you think Seattle should bring in Ogbah or not. One guy we're thrilled to have in Seattle is Byron Murphy, who the Seahawks selected in the first round of this year's draft. He's going to wear the number 91. So just add a 9 to that jersey. And, folks, you can get your jerseys now at chatsports.com/Murphy. What is the home jerseys, the road jerseys, men's and women's options, all sorts of different shapes and sizes. You can go see for yourself. Chatsports.com/Murphy. And we might be offering some free shipping as well. So go see for yourself now. Chatsports.com/Murphy. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. More on Emmanuel Ogbah. He was a star at Oklahoma State. I've seen his entire career. I loved what he did in the Big 12 Conference. 2016 second-round pick. Played for the Chiefs and the Dolphins. Won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs after beginning his career in Cleveland. And here's the numbers we're talking about with Ogbah. Last year was a down year from what he did, comparably speaking, in 2021 and 2020, but he was still good. Had 20 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble. But I think that based on McDonald's track record of working with pass rushers, you're looking at him getting back to the 9-sack range once again in this defensive scheme that he'd be a good fit for. And here's why we think he'd be a good fit. Let's go over the scouting report. First off, he's a big dude, right? 6'4", 275. This guy eats his Wheaties, all right? He's a heavy-handed power rusher. You can never have too many power rushers. He holds up well against the run, which is a very important key detail here, right? We've talked a lot about Darrell Taylor, how bad he is against the run. One-trick pony, he can get after the quarterback, but that's all he can do. Ogbah not only gets after the quarterback, but he can stop the run. He has a recent injury history, and that doesn't tend to get better as you get older, so that is something to keep in mind. And he can kick inside on some sub-packages, so he is movable, if you will. So I like that overall. I think there's a whole lot more good than bad. And at the end of the day, this is an edge who can hold up well against the run. You're speaking my love language here, folks. It feels like Valentine's Day all of a sudden. This is exactly what Seattle needs. And you look at the current edge rusher options. Seahawks got a good mix. We heard that Draymond Jones is being moved to the edge rusher spot. If you bring in Emmanuel Ogbah, for example, then you got some flexibility. You could move Draymond Jones back to the defensive line, or you could just stack up on depth potentially that way. Boye Mafe, I expect to have a big 2024 to build upon what he did last year. Uchenna Nwosu's healthy. We mentioned Darrell Taylor. I think Derek Hall's going to take a step in the right direction. I would really feel great about this group if you added Ogbah to the mix and really just had a plethora of options there, especially if injuries come about. Who's a player the Seahawks should sign? If it's not Emmanuel Ogbah, who is it? Weigh in the comments section. Give me a name that you'd like to see in Seattle before the season begins. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Tyler Jones Live, and we shall see you next time here on Seahawks Today. All right, one down, and we got 3 segments to go. Next up, we're going to talk top 10 players to watch at OTAs. Should the Seahawks trade DK? I say no. Actually, I say hell no if I'm going to be honest with you on that answer. And we'll go bring back Smitty as he's here with us as well to get his opinion on this.
Yeah, don't do it.
Smitty, like the other thing, and I didn't really mention this, but we've talked about this in the past.
Yeah.
If you did trade DK, you're not going to really get the return you want. I'm not going to be happy with just a first-round pick.
I agree, especially if it's a first-round pick like the one that Kansas City is, likely projected to have next year, which, like you said, was about 31, 32 at the worst.
Right.
I'm not a fan.
What do you guys think? Should the Seahawks trade DK? I'm saying hell no.
Listen, do I think DK should be talked about in the conversations with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and those guys at the top? No, I think he's a tier or two below those guys. But he's also very explosive. He's an electrifying player, and he can change a game when he gets the ball in his hands. So I very much enjoy having him on the roster, especially when he's not receiving, that level guy money. He's not getting $30 million a year like a Tyreek Hill or a Justin Jefferson will or a Jamar Chase will. He's getting less than 20 if I'm not mistaken. So that's a good value contract to have right now, especially while you have his running mate of the future in JSN still on his rookie deal.
Exactly. Check it in the chat. EFN says hell no. Melanie says what's up, Tyler? Good to see you, Melanie. Arazu says hell no. Robert says hell no. The Boskin says hell effing no to trade DK. Space says he's too young. George says don't trade DK. Hell no. Melanie says hell no. He's here too. Way too good of a player. Another update from OTAs coming in from Gino. He's at the podium. He said that he recently took a vacation to Cabo with Sam Howell and 15 other players in the Seahawks roster. Team bonding.
Love that. Cabo sounds fantastic.
And then also, Gino apparently is a big fan of this air raid offense. He says Ryan Grubb's system suits him as a drop-back passer. I would agree. This is an offense, Smitty, that's going to be very similar to what Gino ran at West Virginia when he put up some incredible numbers in college there with that prolific West Virginia offense.
Hope he's throwing it 40 times a game. Let's get it going.
We
have the weapons to do it. Let's do it. We just paid Noah Fant $12 million a year, whatever it was.
This is a first-timer, by the way.
Ah, yes.
We got another super chat coming in. We'll throw it on screen here in just a moment. We'll get the super chat here in just a bit. Reminder, we got our mailbag coming up later. Use hashtag Seahawks or super chat to get on the mailbag portion of today's show. Geno Smith in the chat saying absolutely not. Don't trade DK. Mark Sanchez saying F no on the idea of trading DK. Smell007 says hell yeah. What? Why do you want to get rid of DK? Why are we trying to get rid of DK? Here we go. The super chat we'll put on your screen. Stand by, folks. First time super chatter we'll get to in just a moment. Here's what's ahead here on Seahawks Today. We're going to go over the top 10 players to watch at OTAs in just a moment. Also, I got 5 burning questions. I got some questions for Mikey and Johnny that we'll get to here in just a little while from right now. And then we'll also do a Q&A mailbag as well. Use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of the show. I know we could use some more questions for that mailbag portion. The Boskin, Mark Sanchez, Geno Smith, Brandon, Melanie, and others. Now's your chance to let your voice be heard. Get your questions in for that mailbag. We'll bring you coming up in just a little while from now. If you don't have it, that's fine. It's all good. It's all good. All right. Here we go. Super chat coming in. A first time super chatter. Martin writes in. Watching from Toulouse, France. Hope the Seahawks have a game in France in the next decade. I heard the NFL wants to make every team have at least one international game per season in the future. Smitty,
dope.
It's funny. We'll put this in the mailbag. Actually, I heard some rumblings today about the Seahawks potentially playing 2025 in Australia.
Whoa. That'd be insane.
Down under? France? Yeah, I'm open to the idea. Martin, I love seeing the international 12s. When the Seahawks played in Germany a couple years ago, Smitty, against the Bucks, it was awesome to see. That stadium was like 3-1 Seahawk fans outnumbering Buck fans.
Yeah, Seahawks fans get international for sure. I think if they were to go to Australia, that'd be probably a shorter flight than it would be to Germany, right? If they go the other way?
I believe so.
Yeah. So maybe that'd be advantageous for Seattle to have a game in the Outback.
All right, so that is $12 in euros. We'll call it 10 US. And so we'll pay that off. I'll take a shot, and Smitty's got a really good dad joke, he says.
Maybe it's not that good, but I thought it was. I got a chuckle out of it when I saw it. What do you call a beehive without an exit?
What do you call it?
It's unbelievable!
Oh!
Are you kidding me?
What do you think? Grade Smitty's dad joke. A or F? We're not doing anything in between. I liked it. I'm going A.
Beehive without an exit. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. What about Smitty's dad joke there, folks? A or F?
What do you guys think?
Get the grades in. Smitty hyped that one up. I think he delivered. That wasn't bad.
I'll throw in an extra here because I think that you'll love this one.
Okay.
Who were the greenest presidents in U.S. history? The greenest presidents.
Who?
The Bushes.
Oh! I like that too. Smitty on a roll. I'll give him an A on both those. Space says F. Robert says F. Insert name here says
Guys,
F.
they're dad jokes. They're not supposed to be, slap your ass funny.
Razo says A. Grade the Smitty dad joke. Space says that was middle school.
Yeah, because it's a dad joke.
That's what dad jokes are.
Come on.
Come on now. Every $10 super chat, we're
Read
throwing
the room.
dad jokes. We'll go with the super chat menu real quick. Melanie says, nice job, Smutty. You're no longer Smitty. You're Smutty now. Smitty. Okay, there we go. Alexander says F-. Come on, Alexander. Alexander's a hater. I've seen some of his comments.
If you guys can give out grades for my dad jokes, Robert says A, second joke. Sorry, I made up for myself, I guess. If you can give me a grade for the dad jokes, I know you can ask a question about your Seattle Seahawks for our mailbag video. Use hashtag Seahawks to ask a question because we're gonna need them. We always end up needing them right before we do this segment at the end of our shows.
It's the only way you can get on screen is the super chat or using hashtag Seahawks. For the mailbag portion of the show later. First time super chatters get the Seahawks chant. $5 to do the old McDonald's song. $10 for taking shots. $20 to do a beer smash. $50 to do the Seahawks sauce. We're at $23 right now if we magically get to 200. We did last week. We did 2 boots last week. We can make that happen again if we get to 200. Still ways to go, but it can be done. I've seen some incredible things happen.
Copy the Boskin. Copy the Boskin. He's doing it right.
The Boskin's going to be on the mailbag. Mark Sanchez. Ooh, with a $10 super chat. That's another dad joke.
Ooh.
And I like this question from Mark already. And detail-oriented with him. So we got 2 dad jokes coming. I know you, TJ, watch a lot of college football, and so do I. I do love college football. I'll be honest. This might be blasphemy to say on this program. I like college football a little more than the NFL, actually. My favorite sport. With that being said, are you excited for College Football 25? If so, are you building the Rock Chalk program? Great question, Mark Sanchez. So I don't have a current game system right now, but I will be purchasing either a PlayStation or Xbox. I'm leaning towards PlayStation. I will be buying the college football game. I will be also buying Madden. And what I'm going to do, Smitty, I will get to my school, Kansas, eventually in Dynasty mode.
Okay.
Eventually. But everyone knows the best way to play Dynasty mode is start as an OC at a small school and work your way up.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm going to do. Probably start as OC at like New Mexico or something, then go from there. That's where I feel like it's the most fun.
I agree. I mean, I'm going to be starting up there in upstate New York at the U.S. Military Academy. The Army Black Knights, we're taking them to the Natty.
And new members of the American Athletic Conference.
That's right. We're just going to triple option those boys to death.
So I'll get to Kansas eventually, but I got to start out with a smaller program first. But, Mark, I cannot wait. That is another shot and another dad joke. Smitty, I'll go with this next one. All right.
What do you got?
Here's the next dad joke. Why was the fish's grades bad?
Ooh, I feel like I could get this one. Why were the fish's grades bad? I don't know.
They were below sea level.
Oh my goodness.
Oh!
They were below C, like the letter. Grade that dad joke.
Graded A or F. A or F on that dad joke. Mark, much appreciated. Thanks for that $10 super chat. Shout to you.
Love that question, by the way, Robert.
Yes, thank you, Robert, for that. And Geno Smith, you'll be included in the mailbag as well. Next one for Detail Orient. And this is another dad joke we owe him and another shot. The only minor problem with DK was his attitude on a couple of occasions. Coach Mike will resolve that. Mark my words, inside info. He's not going anywhere. I'll do a $250 super chat if he's traded. Yes, I hope DK's not going anywhere. I hope that's the case. But I'll say this. I'm not expecting Mike McDonald to be able to calm down
I agree,
DK
yeah.
Metcalf. I think it just is who he is at this point.
He's been in the league long enough. It's not like these young player antics anymore. He's a veteran at this point. I mean, he's off his rookie contract. And I just think, like you said, that's who he is.
All right, here's my next dad joke. Shout out Detail Oriented for this one.
What do we got?
What do you call a pig that practices karate?
A pork chop.
Yes!
Bang!
Bang! There we go. Bringing you the dad jokes. Every $10 super chat. Taking shots and giving you dad jokes here in today's show.
All right.
That puts us at $43. So a work in progress to get to the boot, but we're making it happen. All right. Let's get to our top 10 players to watch at OTAs. I got the full list that we'll go over here in just a bit. Keep sending in those questions as well for our mailbag portion of the show. Say now. I can't see. My screen just went away, so you'll have to tell me what it is. Yeah, let's go to it. My computer is having a little issue, so Smitty's going to pull up that super chat. I can't see it at the moment because I got a little technical issue on my end.
This question will get on the mailbag as well. $10 super chat coming in from Melanie Offenwanger.
Melody, good to see you.
Melanie, what's going on? Go Hawks. Should we be targeting for one or two more veteran
on our offensive line? I think that's what.
Oh, veterans for our offensive line. Maybe the text got
boosts
jumped
our
a little
offense
bit.
that much more. She just said she had a typo. No worries.
Yeah, no worries.
Melanie, great question. I think that the Seahawks are pretty okay with what they have, but there is one guy that if he continues to be out there
Yeah.
and goes unsigned and is willing to take less money, I would be very willing to talk to Dalton Reisner.
Yeah, I agree. I knew that was a name you were going to pull up. He's got a bad agent. This is the
second offseason in a row.
Second offseason in a row. He's not going to be signed until teams are already in the middle of training camp and maybe past the whole thing.
Like Connor Williams, I think is out of their price range. I think he will get a nice payday from somewhere. But Dalton Reisner's a guy that if he's still around and, as we go through this, injuries are going to happen. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah.
Like Tomlinson's got a lengthy injury history. I don't know if he's going to make it. Some of the other guys, like Dalton Reisner's a guy I'd keep an eye on potentially. Outside chance, I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see. Melanie, that's another shot. And another dad joke. Smitty, you want this one or?
Yeah, I'll take this one. Why
okay.
not? Let me find something good here.
All right. And we'll include that in the mailbag as well, Melanie. So thanks for that question. Another dad joke from Smitty. We're at $52 now, so we're less than $150 away from Das Book.
All right. Which days are strongest? Which days of the week are strongest?
I don't know.
Saturday and Sunday. The rest are weekdays.
Oh!
Are you kidding me?
That's actually pretty good. There you have it. How about that? Melanie, thanks for the super chat. And the dad jokes, I guess, are pretty popular today. We'll keep them going for each $10 super chat that comes in. Up next, players to watch. Top 10 players that have my eye throughout OTAs. We'll go over those in just a bit. Also got our mailbag segments, and then we'll also talk 5 burning questions that I have for John and Mike here in just a bit. So stay tuned for that. All right, here we go. Segment 2 on the way here on Seahawks Today. OTAs rolls on for your Seattle Seahawks over the next several days. And on this edition of Seahawks Today, I have my list of top 10 players to watch throughout OTAs that I want to see a little something from over the next stretch as the Seahawks install their new offense and defense. We'll go over that complete list in just a moment. Quick survey for the 12s out there. I want to know how many of you have ever been to a Seahawks game at Lumen Field. If so, like the video and comment when you made it out to Lumen Field. I know you guys have had some great memories over the years. If you haven't made it out to Lumen Field, that's okay too. Let me know in the comments section when you've been to Lumen Field. Like the video if you've been there before. All right, let's start with our players to watch, beginning with the one and only Byron Murphy, the Seahawks' first-round pick out of the University of Texas. And I got to tell you, I'm so excited about this guy, but I have some questions when it comes to Byron Murphy. First off, is he going to get into football shape sometime soon? Because if you recall, when he showed up at rookie minicamp, right away we heard Mike McDonald say he's got to cut some weight, that he's fat, and then he's got to get in better football shape going forward. So I want to know, is Byron Murphy at the size and weight that Mike McDonald wants him to be at? And then what's his role exactly going to be? Because right now, when you look at the Seahawks defensive line, there's a lot of question marks because we've heard that they're going to run this kind of 3-4-4-3 hybrid defense. And then you still got Jaron Reed, and we've heard the rumblings about Draymond Jones potentially moving to the edge rusher spot. And then where does that leave, guys like Leonard Williams and others? How do you make this all mix up and work? And where does Byron Murphy factor into this equation? Is he going to play well enough that he earns a starting job right away? I got a lot of questions. I want to see what they have in store for Byron Murphy. And it's not even all just about Byron Murphy. I want to see what the coaching staff has in mind for Byron Murphy over the next coming days here with OTAs with Byron Murphy there. Next on the list, Sam Howell. We are seeing Sam Howell on the Seahawks for the very first time in a Seahawks uniform over the last few days at OTAs, getting reps with the offense and learning the scheme and everything. Comes over from the Washington Commanders where he had an up-and-down year last year. Led the league in interceptions with 21, but threw for a ton of yards, had his moments, but was very inconsistent. And to give him the benefit of the doubt, he had the worst offensive line in football last year, so he wasn't necessarily set up to succeed there in Washington in that Eric Bieniemy offense. But here he comes to Seattle now, and I'm very curious. Is Sam Howell going to play good enough to make this a QB competition, if you will? Is he going to play good enough to show the confidence to potentially be the long-term solution for the Seahawks? I have questions about what version the Seahawks are getting of Sam Howell and if he's ready to go right from the jump here in this Seahawks offensive scheme. Do you believe in Sam Howell? It's our pinned comment today. Let us know. Are you all in or are you out on Sam Howell? Type Y for yes, in for no if you believe in Sam Howell or not. Tell you about today's sponsor. That is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose 2 or more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less. Whether you're talking fantasy points, maybe it's rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey. Maybe we're talking birdies in golf. All sorts of different categories to choose from. You can mix and match different leagues. I'm looking ahead to the start of the NFL season. I got our guy DK. They have more than 1,025.5 receiving yards this season. Also going with Lamar Jackson to have more than 3,600.5 passing yards. If I put $20 down, both these hit, that's going to turn into $60 in Prize Picks, folks. Play along with me. PrizePicks.com/SailAtS. Promo code CLNS for a $100 deposit match on your first entry. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Download Prize Picks today, and you'll be glad you did. Next on our list is Kenny McIntosh, the Seahawks' second-year running back out of the University of Georgia, two-time national champion with the Georgia Bulldogs. And last year, we didn't hardly see Kenny McIntosh. He played 3 games in a very limited role. If you recall, he dealt with injuries throughout much of last year. But with DJ Dallas gone, Kenny McIntosh is expected to come in and be the de facto receiving back. You'll see him as a third down back. And last year, in the offseason programs, we heard Pete Carroll and the Seahawks staff speak very highly of Kenny McIntosh. They love what he brought to the table. Now I want to see, is he fully healthy? How involved will he be in this offense? I'm very intrigued to see what Kenny McIntosh is going to put together and if he can play a pivotal role in this Seahawks offense or not. And if he doesn't look great, then the Seahawks are going to look for other options potentially at that running back position. So Kenny McIntosh, a lot of pressure to get things going right away as the number 3 running back for Seattle. Next on the list is Rick Woolen. I love Rick Woolen. I really do. But I was disappointed with the product that we saw out of Rick Woolen in 2023 as he took a significant step back from what he did the year prior. He really struggled tackling. The turnovers were way down from what they were the year prior. Went from 6 interceptions to 2 interceptions this past year. His pass breakups numbers was down. He was down in almost nearly every statistic in 2023. And now you come into this Mike Macdonald defense, and we're all sitting here expecting that everybody should take a step up in this defensive scheme, that Mike Macdonald is one of the best defensive minds in all of football, right? He's been compared to Sean McVay as like the Sean McVay of defense, right? Rick Woolen is one of these guys that needs to see his play elevate. And here's the truth of the matter, folks. We're going to be completely honest with you. If Rick Woolen can't tackle, if he can't take a step forward, if he continues on the slide that we saw last year, this corner room's competitive. I mean, if he doesn't figure it out, he's going to get replaced. So Rick Woolen, I want him back to that Pro Bowl level he was the rookie season. I want him to build upon that. Pressure's on Rick Woolen to figure it out. Next up, Abraham Lucas. Now, I know this isn't the sexy pick to be going with an offensive lineman on your players to watch list, but for me, this is not necessarily about looking for Abraham Lucas to wow you in OTAs, right? There's only so much an offensive lineman could do in these type of scenarios. But what I'm looking for is that knee of Abraham Lucas. I am very, very skeptical of how that knee is ultimately going to hold up for Abraham Lucas this year in OTAs and on through training camp. Is going to be a good test to see if he's fully healthy or not. Last year was never fully healthy. You saw the numbers a moment ago. They weren't good. Abraham Lucas had a down year. And you go back to his rookie season, I mean, he was comparable right up there with Charles Cross. They were mano a mano. You could have made the case that he was better than Charles Cross in their rookie season. But I'm very curious, is he all there or not? That remains to be seen. OTA is going to be a good test to see how that knee is shaping up at this point. Next on the list, this guy may have been number 1 on some folks' list. That's Jackson Smith-Njigba, JSN. Year number 2 for JSN. I'm very high on JSN. I think he's got the potential to work his way up to be the number 2 receiver in the Seahawks offense. We saw last year, kind of got off to a slow start. His breakout game was that Monday night game where he had the game winner against the Philadelphia Eagles. Finished up the season with 63 catches, 628 yards, and 4 touchdowns. We know that this air raid scheme, the Seahawks are going to throw the football a lot of short passing game, quick passes, and JSN should be able to thrive in that. I want to see his role increase and make an immediate impact, and I think OTAs are potentially a good opportunity to see that out of JSN. And I believe that he's got the potential, folks, to have a 1,000-yard season this year. Do you guys agree with me? Can JSN reach 1,000 yards? Let us know. Y for yes, and for no, way in the comment section. Get your predictions in now if JSN can reach 1,000 yards or not. For the best Seahawks OTA coverage you won't find anywhere else, you got to be subscribed to Seahawks Today. as bringing you daily news and rumors. We also, folks, starting next week on the channel, we'll be doing some Madden Sim watch parties. It's the closest thing to game day that we can give you here on the channel, folks. We're going to sim through every single Seahawks game this season, all 17 regular season games. And if they make the playoffs in our simulation, then we'll do playoff simulations as well. It's going to be a great time. Every Wednesday and Friday, we're going to be live on the channel doing these Madden Sims. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the channel. Never miss a moment. Lock us in, youtube.com/SeahawksTV to subscribe now for free. Next on the list, Terrell Dodson. A lot of excitement about Dodson coming over from the Buffalo Bills, where he was the best coverage linebacker in the entire NFL last year. He is exactly what Mike Macdonald is looking for in this defense. And we know he's taking on the green dot. He is going to be the de facto leader of this Seahawks defense in 2024. So as Dodson and this Seahawks defense goes through OTAs, how quickly is he going to pick up this scheme? How quickly is he going to embrace this role of leading this defense and getting this group on track? I think that Dodson is going to be a good measuring stick for the direction this Seahawks team is going here in 2024. Rayshawn Jenkins, this was maybe my favorite free agent signing that the Seahawks made. They got Jenkins at a relatively cheap price tag, coming off a year where I thought he was very good in Jacksonville, 101 tackles, 2 interceptions, 9 pass breakups. And think about the safeties that Mike Macdonald has worked with, right? From Kyle Hamilton to Geno Stone, who was fantastic last year, second in the league in interceptions, Marcus Williams, among others. Mike Macdonald's done very well with these safeties. I think you're going to see Rayshawn Jenkins have a very good year and thrive with what Mike Macdonald's trying to do. OTA's good opportunity for him to kind of show what he's capable of. Next up, we find Noah Fant. And I would say, folks, there is not a single Seahawks player, Geno Smith included here, with more pressure on him to perform this year than Noah Fant. Because the excuse that we've had for Noah Fant is that he was not utilized properly in the previous regime under Pete Carroll and Shane Waldron, that they ignored the tight end position, that they didn't use it to the full potential. And that goes not just for Noah Fant, but, I mean, you go even further back to the likes of Jimmy Graham and Will Dissly, and among others here. Noah Fant, this guy's a former first-round pick. I think he's got the potential to be a top 10 tight end. It's put up or shut up time for Noah Fant. Time for him to put it all together and get this thing on track, and I think OTAs are a good chance for him to kind of set the tone here early. One more player to get to in a moment, but first, who's a player that's got your eye at OTAs this week and the coming weeks to follow? Name somebody that comes to mind that you think could stand out and do a really good job for the Seahawks here at OTAs. Give me a player that has got your attention. Last on the list, Olivadotti, the new starting center for the Seattle Seahawks, replacing Evan Brown, the second-year player out of the University of Michigan. We saw a small sample size of Olivadotti last year. He was very good in pass blocking, 75.5 grade. Run blocking needs some work, 50.0, but most importantly, did not allow a single sack. How quickly will he come along? Is he ready to start right away as the Seahawks starting center? Let's see what Olu's got in the tank here for 2024 and to get things going right here at OTAs. If you enjoyed today's show, if you've been to a game at Lumen Field, like the video. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. All right, halfway home. Next up, we will get to 5 burning questions that I have for Mike Macdonald and for John Schneider. But first, want to know, JSN reach 1,000 receiving yards? I'm a believer. I think he will. Smitty, what say you?
I think he'll just miss it. I think he'll be in the 800 to 900 range. You still have Tyler Lockett. There's mouths to feed on the Seattle offense. And are we really betting on Geno Smith to throw for a 4,000-yard season? I probably wouldn't. Noah Fant, like you mentioned, it's kind of put up or shut up time for him, so he's got to produce numbers. I'm looking for at least 700 yards out of him. DK, you got to get his 1,000 to 1,200 yards in there as well. Lockett's going to be right underneath 1,000 yards as well. So like if you just take those top 4 receiving options, you're already looking at potentially 3,500 yards of production for Geno Smith, and that's without a Jake Bobo catch here and there.
Noah Fant.
I actually love Noah Fant in there. I love Noah Fant in the top 4 receiving options. So yeah, you miss out on Jake Bobo. If Laviska Shenault gets any action, you could bet on him getting some of those yards, maybe 200, 300 on the season. So
Shenault will always have a special place in your heart. That was the Smitty VOD.
That was the Smitty VOD. That's right. So I'm looking for Laviska Shenault to take some of that real estate in the passing or the receiving yards category. So you're looking at a lot of mouths to feed on the Seahawks offense, and that's not even mentioning Kenneth Walker or Zach Charbonnet's receiving work that they get done this season. So I'm going on a little bit less than 1,000 yards.
Okay.
But who knows? If say DK gets closer to that 1,000-yard mark on the dot, maybe JSN could. Who knows? JSN could be the number 1 receiver on this team when it's all said and done next season.
I'll say this before we catch up on Super Chats, real quick, Smitty. If the Seahawks have 2 1,000-yard receivers, whether it's DK and JSN or DK and Lockett, a combination, whatever it is, if you have 2 1,000-yard receivers, then I have a feeling this is going to be a very good year. To me, that's a good measuring stick.
That's a good measuring stick. You're right. You're getting that means you're having a highly productive offense, because if you have 2,000-yard receivers, I guarantee the third guy, whether it's JSN or Tyler Lockett, isn't going to have something in the realm of 500 yards, right? He's going to have a little bit more than that, something close to 1,000, but maybe not eclipsing it. That's a good measuring stick to where the Seahawks season, especially the Seahawks offense, will look.
5 burning questions coming up next, but let's go through some Super Chats. Detail-oriented, as we owe another shot, another dad joke. Is Christian Hinds going to start this year? I'm super excited to see what A.J. Barner brings to the table and how Grubb might use him. I think people are underestimating his possible impact. Smitty, my guess, I'm on the Christian Hinds bandwagon. I was not impressed, if I'm going to be honest with you, what I saw from Anthony Bradford. I thought he was very raw.
Yeah.
I think, granted, he played at UConn. I get that. And independent, they played a soft schedule and all that. But Christian Hinds, I feel like, is going to be farther along than Anthony Bradford is. I feel more optimistic about Christian Hinds. I do think he starts at right guard, like Tomlinson starts at left guard.
I agree. I'm looking for Christian Hinds. Listen, they talked about them using draft capital to move up and get Christian Hinds in April. So if that's not a guy that they're fully sold on, I'd be having some reservations about the pick. But I don't. I think that they're going to go with him, and they're going to roll into this regular season with Christian Hinds starting at right guard. That's my guess.
Another dad joke here.
Am I up?
Oh,
we're both going, so you can go for this one.
Okay. You should be able to get this one.
Okay.
I'll preface this. Why are pirates called pirates?
Why are pirates called pirates?
Chat, see if you can figure this out
Why
as well.
are
Why are pirates called pirates?
I don't know.
Any guesses, chat?
It has something to do with R, right?
It does.
It's got to have something to do with R.
Why are pirates called pirates? Any guesses? Okay, I'll just tell you. They just are!
They just are. I get it. Oh, my
Thank
goodness.
you, detail-oriented, for that one. Mark Sanchez with the $10 super chat.
Mark.
Niners suck all day. Amen. They will fall apart this season by one way or another. It happens to every Super Bowl loser. I hate those guys 365 days a year, 24/7, and I'll be hating them when I'm cold and in the ground. Mark, I love that. Peter did get it. It just came through late. Mark, much appreciated, and I agree. F San Fran. Let's get those in the chat. F San Fran.
FSF.
F San Fran.
FSF.
F San Fran. F San Fran. Get mid-season form. Spam F San Fran. I'll take this shot for Mark.
And I got a dad joke coming at him.
Here we go.
What do you call a bundle of hay in a church?
Bundle of hay in a church. A haymole? Like a hymnal?
Hey, that's not too bad. That's
Okay.
That's not a bad answer, but it's not correct.
Okay.
Christian Bale.
Oh! That's actually pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Christian Bale. Oh, that's pretty good.
That's good stuff.
Mark, thanks for that super chat. If you want to be like Mark and detail-oriented and get involved in today's show, send in a super chat. Here's the super chat menu. Every $10 super chat, we're taking a shot, and we're telling dad jokes on today's show. First-time super chatters get the Seahawks chant. $5 will sing the old McDonald's song. $20 to a beer smash. $50 to the Seahawks sauce. We are just over 125 away from Das Boot. It is within striking distance, folks.
Oh, boy.
We'll see if we can make it happen. Let's get to 5 burning questions. I got some questions for Mike McDonald.
And you guys
John
keep asking
Schneider.
your questions using hashtag Seahawks. I'm going to give you guys an update before we do the segment before the mailbag of where we're at on questions. Right now, we have the Boskin getting on. We have Robert getting on.
Got several super chats.
What do we have here?
What do we got going on here?
Do we have...
Did I hear San Fran?
We heard F. San Fran.
F. San Fran. F. San Fran.
Are you kidding me?
F. San
What
Fran.
is this?
What is this? What is this?
What? Everybody boo!
Boo!
Chase! Boo! Boo! We coming for that ass at 24.
Boo!
No!
Crazy. He's wild for that.
What are we doing here?
Are you kidding? This guy, after whooping on us for the last half decade, coming in and rubbing it in.
Oh, damn brutal. There we go. Lord Buddy Bear wants to know what a beer smash is. Send in a 20 and you'll find out. It's like the Steve Austin Stone Cold beer smash. That's how it is. $20 super chat and we'll do a beer smash for you. Lord Buddy Bear, I promise we'll take care of you.
Beer smash like Stone Cold.
Boom, boom. One of my favorite celebrations of all time, I don't know if you remember this, Smitty.
Yeah.
Eric Fisher, the former Chiefs offensive
Oh,
lineman.
did he do it?
He somebody handed him a beer in the end zone. He did the beer smash and chugged it after a touchdown score.
That's electric.
John Smith, good to see you.
Johnny boy, what's going on, the Godfather? How are we?
Good to see you, John Smith. We got John Smith, Mark Sanchez. We're having a party today. $72 right now. Got to get to $200 for a beer boot today. Next up, 5 burning questions for John Schneider and for Mike McDonald.
Burn, baby, burn.
As OTAs rolls on here on this Wednesday afternoon. So stay tuned for that. Then we'll do a mailbag coming up in just a bit.
Keep getting your questions in. Like I said, I'm doing a check. We have the Boskin, Robert, a couple super chatters, which are helping you guys out. We got Geno Smith, potential. I don't love that question, but we can get it on.
Keep sending them.
Keep sending them.
One more segment away from that mailbag. All right.
Oh!
Oh, Lord Buddy Bear.
Buddy.
Lord Buddy Bear wanted to see the beer smash. He's a Raider fan, but he's our favorite Raider fan. We'll do the beer smash.
Buddy Bear wants to see it get done.
Okay, let's see it. As always, F. Tom Fumble Brady. You know, Tom Brady's probably going to be calling some Seahawk games this year at some point on Fox. But you know what, Lord Buddy Bear, we can agree. F. Tom Brady. Why not?
I know. By the way, I know it's not every game, but like it seems like there's some segregation with the NFL schedule and the TV networks. Fox is an NFC network, and CBS is
Not
ABC.
anymore.
Not anymore. They've done away with this.
Yes, it's all mix and match. It's based on TV markets now.
Okay. Because it used to be that way for a while. I mean,
Like
I never
now,
saw
it's
the Seahawks.
based on CBS and Fox each have to have a certain number of top 15 market games.
Okay. I guess it's more fair. But I remember watching Seahawks games growing up. They were never on CBS unless they were playing an AFC opponent.
So the beer smash for Stone Cold Steve Austin, Lord Buddy Bear. This puts us at $93. Lord Buddy Bear. F. Tom Brady. We still don't forgive him for that Super Bowl.
We don't forgive him. We don't forgive. We don't forget.
Even though that was kind of our fault. We should have won that game anyway.
Yeah, Tom Brady. He was on the bench when he won that Super Bowl.
But it still hurt.
Yeah.
F. Tom Brady. Spam F. Tom in the chat. Bang.
Oh boy. Stone Cold Tyler Jones.
There we go. The beer smash. F. Tom Brady. Get those F.
I feel like on the
Toms in
next
chat.
beer smash, you gotta have a little more emphasis in that.
I
That
do,
was
but
like a
I
big-
didn't. I couldn't spill it. It wasn't empty yet.
That was exactly. That's the whole point. It's supposed to be spillage.
Well, I got 2 more segments.
That's true. That's true.
Get the F. Tom Brady's in the chat. Peter says Tom ruined our franchise.
I would pump the brakes on that. We ruined that. Okay, we did that ourselves.
Oh, that was like the one time that like Tom Brady wasn't the direct effect of a Super Bowl he won.
Yeah. More often than not, I mean, Tom Brady's playing a big role in his Super Bowl wins. That one was all on us.
Yeah. Thanks, Russ. Yeah. All right. 5 burning questions. Get the F Toms in the chat for F Tom Brady. And we'll do our burning questions. $92, just over 100 away from the beer boot.
They're not liking your beer smash.
Steve, when this can's empty, I'll do a better job on the next one. Let's see. Boskin, Tom was not the problem. It was Pete not giving it to Bespo.
Yeah. I know, Boskin.
I know.
We watch it every single year.
We
It's
know.
the most replayed sports highlight of the era.
All right. Burning questions. 5 burning questions up right now here on Seahawks Today. Glad to have you with us on Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here with you. We continue to cover OTAs for your Seattle Seahawks. I got 5 burning questions for John Schneider and Mike McDonald as the Seahawks are in this off-season training program that are on my mind that we will get to here in just a moment. Before we do, the sub-battle continues all month long here on Seahawks Today between us and the 49ers report with our evil nemesis, Chase Sr. and company. They got a little bit of the edge on us, but that's not stopping us from winning this sub-battle this week. For the latest happenings in your favorite team all off-season long, live shows twice a week starting next week on Wednesdays and Fridays with Matt and Sims for every Seahawks game. We're going to continue to bring you our daily news and rumors. Also, anytime there's breaking news, we'll talk about it as well. Subscribe now for free. Stay up to date with your Seattle Seahawks. Let's stick it to the 49ers and win this sub-battle here for the month of May. Question number 1 on my mind. What is the plan for the Seahawks on the defensive line? I like this group, but I don't know what the Seahawks are going to do with this group. This position group this offseason has gone from an area of weakness to an area of strength with the additions that they've made. But the direction of it kind of remains unclear. Let me explain why. Leonard Williams, we know, is going to start on the defensive line. But everything else is up in the air at this point. What do you do with Jarran Reed? We've heard his name come up as a potential cut candidate. Potentially to save $5 million. Is Jarran Reed staying around? Byron Murphy, what's his role going to be? Is he a D-end? Is he a nose tackle? What are you doing with Byron Murphy? I don't know, to be honest with you. Draymond Jones, we've heard rumblings about him potentially moving to the edge or being a backup, losing his starting job that he had last year, coming off a disappointing 2023 season. What are you going to do with Draymond Jones? Is Draymond Jones going to step up? And then there's Jonathan Hankins, who I really liked the Seahawks signing there from the Dallas Cowboys, previously the Las Vegas Raiders, once lost a burger eating contest to our own Mitchell Renz here at Chat Sports. What are they going to do with the defensive line? I just don't know what the Seahawks are going to do with the defensive line. And speaking of Byron Murphy, I got to ask you guys, will he start week 1? I lean towards yes, but I don't know for certain. We've heard Mike McDonald complain about his playing weight right now, saying he needs to get in better shape. Is he going to figure it out and get everything in check? Let us know. Y for yes, N for no. Will Byron Murphy start week 1 for the Seahawks or not? Question 2, what's the plan on the offensive line? I think 3 starters are set. I think that we know for certain that barring injuries, Charles Cross will be your starting left tackle. Olu Olutimi will be your starting center, and Abraham Lucas will be your starting right tackle. But everything else is up in the air. Like in Tomlinson, you would expect to start at left guard, but that's not a foregone conclusion at this point. Christian Hinds comes in The Seahawks drafted him out of UConn in the third round. There's a lot of optimism, excitement for him, but you still have Anthony Bradford, his second year coming from LSU. And Anthony Bradford, if we're going to be honest, kind of the jury's still out on him, if you will. Did not play so hot in 2023. And then you got a guy like Nick Harris, who they brought in from the Cleveland Browns. He can play some fullback. Is he more fullback or is he more backup center? George Fant, how much will he be involved as the swing tackle here? I have a lot of questions about how this offensive line is ultimately going to shake up. And then the air raid scheme, too. I'll say this. That is going to be very good for your starting tackles, Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas. Both those guys played in this system at their respective colleges. Charles Cross under Mike Leach at Mississippi State, Abraham Lucas at Washington State. I think if they're healthy, they should have the best years of their career. But we'll see. What are they going to do with this offensive line? I don't know. Who is going to be the starting right guard? Is it Christian Hinds or is it Anthony Bradford? Let us know. CH for Christian Hinds, AB for Anthony Bradford. Pick a starting offensive guard for your Seattle Seahawks in the comments section below. Byron Murphy jerseys are on sale now. Chatsports.com/Murphy is where you can get yours today. Add a 9 to that 91, and that's the jersey he'll be repping this upcoming season. Got the home jerseys, got the road jerseys, got men's and women's options, all sorts of different shapes and sizes for you. Might stumble upon some free shipping. Go see for yourself. Chatsports.com/Murphy is where you can get your Byron Murphy jerseys today. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Go see for yourself. Chatsports.com/Murphy. Question 3. Will Sam Howell get a chance? This should be Gino's job to lose, right? We've heard everything about that Gino is the starting quarterback for this team, that he is the one leading the charge. But at some point, if you're the Seattle Seahawks, with what we've heard of what they've said about Sam Howell, they got to know what they got in Sam Howell at some point in time. Whether that's him getting to start a preseason game, whether that is if they're out of playoff contention and he gets the chance to start late in the year. Maybe it's an injury to Gino. Maybe Gino struggles. Sam Howell at some point is going to see the field in 2024. It's not a matter of if, but when. And they have to know what they're getting out of Sam Howell. Because the way that John Schneider kind of framed it, if you will, in regards to Sam Howell this offseason was that, hey, he's younger than some of the quarterbacks in this year's draft, like Bo Nix and Michael Penix. He was essentially the Seahawks draft pick for the quarterback position. And when he was asked about the quarterback of the future situation, the first thing John Schneider pointed to was, hey, Sam Howell's got 2 years left on his contract. So what is it going to be like for Sam Howell? Will he get a chance? Will he get to prove whether or not he's the guy or not? That remains to be seen as far as that goes when it comes to Sam Howell. But what's the plan? I don't know what the plan is. What do you guys think? Are you buying into Sam Howell? Do you believe in Sam Howell as the potential long-term solution for the Seahawks at quarterback? Y for yes, N for no. Way in the comment section. Tell us what you think. Question 4. How will things shake out at the corner position? This group's got some depth, I will say. I like what the Seahawks have done at the corner spot with the draft picks that they made this year, with bringing in DJ James and Nehemiah Pritchett from Auburn. The Auburn Cats coming in. I thought they did a good job getting those guys in day 3. But beyond that, what are you going to do with this group here? Devin Witherspoon, is he a nickel or is he on the outside? I kind of lean towards the nickel, but we'll see. Mike Jackson, you restructured his deal. Got to think that he's in it for this season. Trey Brown looked pretty good. Showed some flashes last season, but is he going to start or is Mike Jackson going to start? And then Rick Woolen, coming off a disappointing year last year where he really struggled tackling. Will Rick Woolen get back to form? How does this work out? What roles are going to be given to these guys? That all remains to be seen at this point. And I hope that Mike McDonald really can get the most out of this group because there's some potential here. Look at what we saw last year in 2023 between Mike Jackson and Trey Brown. The odds on favored as Mike Jackson starts. But Trey Brown, I would say, outplayed Mike Jackson last year. Did so in less games, might I add, as well. Had more interceptions, more pass breakups, same amount of tackles and TFLs. Who's the guy you rather start at outside corner? If it comes down to these two, would you rather roll with MJ or would you rather roll with Trey Brown? Chime in the comment section. Let us know what you think. MJ for Mike Jackson, TB for Trey Brown. Way in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Number 5 on our burning questions for Mike McDonald and John Schneider. This is more so for the team overall. Are the players going to buy in? Is everybody invested? Is everybody on the same page for this Mike McDonald era of Seahawks football? Because we've already seen Mike McDonald has made some changes that kind of rubbed a few folks the wrong way. Getting rid of the pictures in the office and all that, that got some people upset. And, you know, he's been kind of a hard ass a bit as well. We mentioned a while back what he said to Byron Murphy, that he needed to get in better shape and all that. Kind of a different mentality than happy go jolly Pete Carroll, right? Is everybody going to buy into what Mike McDonald is selling right away? I like McDonald, and from an outside perspective, it's easy to like what you've seen from Mike McDonald, but can he convince those players that he's the right guy to take this next step up? That remains to be seen, and I feel like we're going to learn a lot about the culture and the direction of this franchise based on the way OTAs goes here. What's your confidence level in Mike McDonald right now? Scale for him in the comment section 1 through 10. How are you feeling about Mike McDonald in Seattle? Let us know what you think, 1 through 10, your confidence level in the Seahawks head coach. Subscribe now to Seahawks Today for continuing Seahawks coverage all off-season long. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time. All right. One more segment to go. Our mailbag is up. John Smith with a $10 super chat. We'll get to that here in just a moment. We'll pay off a dad joke for him as well. Confidence level in Mike McDonald. Scale it for me, 1 through 10. Smitty, I like Mike McDonald, but obviously we're not the ones being coached by Mike McDonald. How quickly do you think it's going to take time to adapt for these guys to be all in and invested in what Mike McDonald's doing?
It's interesting because he is a first-time head coach. So, yes, there is going to be some reservations about his style as far as being a leader of men, being a leader of an NFL organization. But I think the track record speaks for itself and what he's been able to do to defenses. I think that the Seahawks roster has to buy in to what he's done, especially the older players in the roster, because he's been a guy who has been able to teach old dogs new tricks.
Right.
And really get the most out of his players, whether it be a young ascending star like Justin Matabike or an older player like Jadeveon Clowney or Kyle Van Noy or Justin Houston. He gets the most out of his players at every level. So I feel like once these players fully buy into what he has done and let the actions speak for themselves, they're going to be in on this hard-ass style, because I know it's a big change to go from Pete Carroll to a guy like Mike McDonald.
Right, absolutely. Confidence level in Mike McDonald. Boskin says 9. Jackson says 8. Detailed Orion says 9.5. Tyson says 7 through 8. Midnight Sun says 9. So chat pretty optimistic for the most part when it comes to Mike McDonald. John Smith with a $10 super chat. That's a shot and a dad joke. Seattle is full of tech bros, so here is a tech dad joke. Pip install ain't easy, but it's necessary. The geeks will get it. I'm
not this big enough of a geek to get this joke.
Yeah, John, I hate to sound like a dumbass here, but I'm not getting that one. I do have a dad joke though.
Okay.
As I take this next shot. All right. Smitty, what do cows read the most?
I saw this one. The newspaper!
Good answer.
Oh, not what you had.
Not the right, it's one of those where there's a more correct answer.
Okay.
Cows, what do cows read the most?
I said the newspaper. What do you say?
Catalogs.
Oh, catalogs. That's a good one. That's a good one.
There you go. Mark Sanchez with a $10 super chat. Devil's advocate question. If you could add any past talk, who would it be? However, whoever you add gets rid of that position's best opposite player, and you can't add a quarterback.
Okay, so I'll answer this because we're going to do this for real in the mailbag.
Okay. You can't add here's the stipulations. A quarterback. Wide receiver equals corner. Tight end equals safety. Running back equals linebacker.
Okay.
Outside linebacker equals defensive line.
Okay. Offensive line equals defensive line.
Okay. So Smitty, give your answer, and I'll answer this in the mailbag.
Okay. So I'm going to, because our only good. I want to add. I want to add a safety. I want to add a safety, but that would take away our best receiving option at the tight end in Noah Fant.
This is quite the mind pickle here.
This is a mind pickle. Running back equals linebacker. I like that. I'm gonna go with screw it. Let's add Cam Chancellor and let's get out of Noah Fant. Unfortunately, you have to get rid of him, but adding a player like Bam Bam, it's too good to pass up, in my opinion.
Could you imagine?
Bam Bam and a Mike
in
McDonald
his prime.
Defense. Oh my God, he'd be. People wouldn't talk about Kyle Hamilton anymore. Let's just say that.
It'd be electric. I think that's a good answer. I'll answer that in the mailbag coming up later. But Mark, great question. Great question there. And then
we got a $50
super chat from John Smith. Bang! I have noticed that the big corner that Pete Carroll really liked doesn't appear to be Mike McDonald's type. I really didn't see a need to draft two corners, but they did. And two Auburn guys seems different from non-slot. I got to read the rest of this in the chat.
The non-slot
We've seen
corners.
that the last few years. John, that's a very interesting take. I'll say this. I wouldn't completely say that Mike McDonald's out on this corner room because they could have, if they wanted to, gotten rid of some guys.
Yeah.
The fact that Mike Jackson, Trey Brown, Reek Woolen, and Devin Witherspoon are all still there, I actually disagree with John to an extent that he actually likes those guys because he had the perfect opportunity to get rid of some of them and did not.
Yeah. I mean, he could have traded Reek Woolen, you know? Like, he could have traded Mike Jackson, these bigger-bodied outside corners.
And granted, they still could, but, I mean, they could have gotten draft capital.
I agree.
A month or two ago. So, John, I disagree. I don't think that's a bad take by any means. Not at all. Don't take that the wrong way. But I do disagree a bit because they held on to the guys they had.
A lot of people talking about Mark Sanchez's question here. They say Marshawn Lynch for Jerome Baker. See, I was trying to go more of a position of need rather than because I think you know you have Walker and Charbonnet back there. Yes, they're not Marshawn Lynch.
Boskin's got a great answer. Walter Jones.
Walter Jones would be fantastic. That would get rid of a D lineman. So see you later, Draymond.
See you later. Draymond Jones.
Jones for Jones right there.
Yeah. John, how about this? So I have to go get the Seahawks sauce, but this is what I will do because I am a man of negotiations here.
Mm-hmm.
John, we are about $40 away from Das Boot. I got one more segment to go. I will do the first ever Seahawks sauce and boot back to back.
Whoa.
In the same motion.
Whoa.
If we get to $200 before the end of this next segment.
Yeah.
Does that sound like a deal? I got to do the Seahawks sauce anyway. But the boot all-in-one we'll do together if we can get $40 before the end of this mailbag segment.
Oh, boy.
That sounds like a deal.
All right, so, yeah, that does sound like a deal. Mark Sanchez said D. Jones is at linebacker, can't do that. Okay.
Well, it depends on who you ask.
All right, then we'll get rid of Jaron Reed.
We don't know for sure he's going to play linebacker.
That's fine. I'll just get rid of Jaron Reed. Don't worry.
They might cut him anyway. So there's the offer, $40. I'm going to do this next mailbag segment. Oh, there it is. All right, John. That didn't take long.
Screw it.
John said screw it. All right.
I'll do it myself.
So we will, after this mailbag segment.
$40 super chat from John Smith.
John
Let's go.
Smith
Clap it up for John.
with the $40 super chat. Burn! A boot is on the way, followed by the Seahawks sauce at the same time. A first ever in Seahawks Today history. Spam John!
Said make it
Spam
up
John!
joke.
John, You don't have anything to make up for, my guy.
You're the man.
You're the man. You're the man, John Smith.
I'll throw out one more dad joke before. So are you gonna get the boot now? Or you want to do the mailbag?
No, I'll do the mailbag first.
Okay.
That way, in case there's any spillage, whatever. Let's take care of the mailbag.
I'll do one more dad joke.
Okay.
Before we start this mailbag, what is a guitar player's favorite Italian food?
I don't know.
Guitar player's favorite Italian food? Stromboli.
Oh!
Stromboli.
I like that. All right. So, mailbag, and then we'll get to some fun. We'll do a boot. We'll do the Seahawks sauce, and then we'll see where the rest of the show goes. So, continue to get your questions in. If you have questions while we're going through the mailbag, use hashtag Seahawks or Super Chat. We'll respond to them throughout the segment. So, stay tuned for that, our final segment here on this Wednesday afternoon. I'm excited, Smitty, starting next week to do 2 live shows.
Should be interesting.
Wednesdays and Fridays for the rest of this off season. And that's the plan the rest of this off season, because when the season starts, we're actually off Fridays because we work Sundays. Yeah. So I don't know what it's going to be during the season, but for now, we're going to do Wednesday and Friday live shows beginning next week. So stay tuned for that.
Absolutely.
Mailbag time. Let's get fired away here on this
I just want to find
Wednesday.
out what we're starting with here. We're gonna go. Yeah, we'll start with this one.
Tyson, thanks for the question. Detail oriented, I see yours. We'll throw that in.
Okay, we'll throw that in for sure. Detail's got a couple of questions that are going to be featured in the mailbag because he's the man.
Detail's been great today. Much love to you, Detail.
All right. Ready?
All right. Without further ado, mailbag time, and then we'll do boot, Seahawks sauce, all that coming up in just a moment. Here we go. You got questions, I got answers. So welcome into this mailbag edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. This comes from our live show that we do on Wednesdays, where viewers like you submit questions to us. We react to them in real time. They super chat. They use the hashtag Seahawks, and we have a great time. And you may be saying to yourself, how can I be a part of a mailbag show? Well, if you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, you will be alerted when we have new content here on Seahawks Today. Right away, whether it's live shows or daily videos, we got it all. So go ahead, subscribe now, turn on notifications, and join what we call the Noti Gang. Those are the people that have their notifications on. If you're a part of the Noti Gang, spam Noti Gang in the comments section for a shout-out. Would love to show you some love, and we'll get started with today's show. Let's begin with Melanie with a $10 super chat. Writes in, go Hawks. Should we be targeting 1 or 2 more veteran offensive linemen? Boosts our offense that much more. I think that the Seahawks are going to roll with what they got for the most part on the offensive line. I think that they feel pretty good with the pick of Christian Hinds. Sounds like they're all in on Olivadotti to be the starting center. Obviously, they brought in Lincoln Tomlinson this offseason, so the interior is going to look completely different. I'm still skeptical about how Abe Lucas's knee is going to hold up. One name to keep in mind, if he's still available, and his price tag continues to drop, Dalton Risner, formerly the Denver Broncos and the Minnesota Vikings. If there's an injury or whatever, Dalton Risner can be an immediate starter as an offensive guard. Look out for him. We'll see what he can potentially bring to the Seahawks if he's still around. The Seahawks need some more help. Detail-oriented with a $10 super chat. Bang! Says, is Christian Hinds going to start this year? I'm super excited to see what A.J. Barner brings to the table and how Grubb might use him. I think people are underestimating his possible impact. Detail-oriented, let's start with the first part of that question. Yes, I think Christian Hinds starts over Anthony Bradford, but Bradford be the backup, if you will, the number 2 guard, backing up both Hinds and Laken Tomlinson. A.J. Barner is going to be kind of a blocking tight end, if you will. I do think the Seahawks want to see if he could be a potential red zone threat. They don't have an obvious replacement for Colby Parkinson as that red zone tight end. I think they're going to give some guys chances at that. It very well just end up might being Noah Fant, but could be Jack Westover, could be A.J. Barner. We'll see. But, yes, that's what I look for with A.J. Barner is more of a blocking tight end. We'll see what his role ends up being. Mark Sanchez with a $10 super chat. Bang. Thank you, Mark. Devil's advocate question. If you could add any past talk, who would it be? However, you would add gets rid of positions, best opposite player. You can't add a quarterback. So wide receiver, corner, tight end, safety, running back, linebacker, offensive line, defensive line. This is a tough question. A lot of good answers that came in the chat when we brought up this idea. And, Smitty was asked about it. He mentioned Cam Chancellor as a possibility. I think my guy John Smith brought up a good answer with Walter Jones. But then I got to get rid of the best opposite player. So at that point then, I'm getting rid of Leonard Williams, which wouldn't be ideal. But you have depth pieces now with Byron Murphy, and you still have Jaron Reed there, Draymond Jones. I could potentially live with that and still have Walter Jones. That would probably be my answer. You'd feel a whole lot better about this offensive line if you have a Hall of Famer on your offensive line there. That'd probably be where I go with. But a fascinating one to think about. I'm sure the comments are going to be rolling with some thoughts on this one. T-Tail Orion with a $10 super chat says, Tyler, we know that Mike McDonald said he'll be calling the defensive plays, but considering how much he will have on his plate, what are the chances he lets AD take over end of year? I'd say 0. No chance. Mike McDonald is going to call the defense. That's his bread and butter. What we've seen from teams, whether it's in college or in the NFL, if you have a head coach that is dead set on being the play caller, they generally don't like to give that up. Think about Andy Reid in Kansas City, Lincoln Riley with USC, Sean McVay with the LA Rams. They don't like to give it up. Usually when they give it up is if something is going wrong, if something's not going right. If Mike McDonald is struggling, if the defense isn't going well, then maybe they switch things up and go to AD. But I would be surprised if he gave up play calling duties. Brian Bosworth, the Boz, checking in. I've seen some cut rumors on Jaron Reed. Any chance we can trade him? I don't know if there is much, if any, of a trade market for Jaron Reed. If the Seahawks make up their minds that they need that $5 million to free up cap space and need to move on from Jaron Reed, I think that's what they would try to do first and see if there's anything they could get out of him. But I don't expect much of a return, especially if teams know that the Seahawks would release him, because word gets around. You guys know how rumors work. So I don't expect there to be much of a trademark. I think that's what they would try to do first, but I don't feel great about getting much for Jaron Reed there. Will the Seahawks end up keeping Jaron Reed or not? Let us know what you think. Y for yes, N for no. Weigh in the comments section. Get your thoughts if the Seahawks keep Jaron Reed. Weigh in. Brock King, 23, writes in, if Mike Jackson gets beat out in camp, could he be traded? The answer, yes. I think that what ultimately could end up happening for the Seahawks between Mike Jackson and Trey Brown, whoever wins the starting outside corner job between those two, the loser might end up leaving town, if you will, because of what the Seahawks have invested. All right, getting DJ James, Nehemiah Pritchett, some of those younger guys here. There's not necessarily room for everybody. And there's enough teams in the NFL that need starting outside corner help that Mike Jackson or Trey Brown, either one, could end up playing elsewhere and starting. Kind of like, remember a few years back when Sidney Jones got beat out and was kind of just sitting on the bench and the Seahawks were shopping him and trying to find him a home and all that? That's what I think could potentially be the case. Now, obviously, injuries might change things. But if Mike Jackson does get beat out, I do think there's a chance that he gets traded. Same could be said for Trey Brown. Could be a loser leaves town situation. Very well could see that happening. And the Seahawks trying to get a pick if they can and take that salary off the salary cap. Will the Seahawks trade Mike Jackson? Type T for trade, P for pass. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. The Boskin writes in, #Seahawks, who is going to be the second outside corner after Woolen? Because Spoon is best as a slot corner. Will it be a rookie or a vet? Boskin, great question there. I would guess Mike Jackson is the betting favorite. But remember, he was the betting favorite going into last year as well. And he was cheeks in the preseason. Trey Brown ended up winning the job, and Trey Brown was your starting outside corner. I like Trey Brown a little more than I do Mike Jackson, but I'm not the one making that decision. Remember, we're 2 years removed from Mike Jackson having a really good season in 2022. If that version of Mike Jackson shows back up, then he'll be the starter. But that remains to be seen. I think it comes down to Trey Brown, Mike Jackson. I would put my bets on Mike Jackson, but I like Trey Brown personally a little bit more. Robert writes in, what are special teams kick returners looking like? So the Seahawks have a few options when it comes to special teams. I know some of you are going to bring up D. Eskridge's name. Remember, with the new kickoff rules, you need 2 returners back there with this, UFL-style kick invented by Vince McMahon. But with that said, I think D. Eskridge is ultimately going to get cut. I don't think Aesop Winston's going to make the roster. So then beyond there, D. Williams is a possibility. I think Chenault is a possibility. I mean, hell, I wouldn't even rule out, especially if you're in a critical moment where you're needing a big play, of maybe even JSN or Tyler Lockett being put back there in those circumstances. Remember, Tyler Lockett was an all-pro return man at one point in his career. So the Seahawks have plenty of options. I think they're going to be fine one way or the other, but we shall see. Robert, thanks for that question. Much appreciated there. Got time for one more question here in the mailbag. Back to the Boskin, writes in. I see us going young at all 3 interior offensive line. Hinds, left guard, and then Olu at center, and then the rookie at right guard. So he is saying, well, trying to put this all together here. He's actually saying Laken Tomlinson's out, that Hinds goes to left guard. I think he actually means Bradford at right and Olu at center, if I'm interpreting that correct, Boskin. Think about this. The Seahawks are banking on, with Laken Tomlinson, that they get the version that they saw in 2021 that was a Pro Bowler. The version we saw last year was injury-prone and struggled when he was on the football field. So, with that said, the young guys, it's not impossible, but Tomlinson's still the favorite. Olu at center, I think he's got a pretty good edge over Nick Harris, but he's still got to win the job in camp, so we'll see. But Boskin going to be very competitive for those starting offensive guard spots. The only thing we know for certain is that Abraham Lucas, Charles Crosby, your starting tackles. Thanks for joining us here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe to the channel now. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. We will see you next time. All right. That's our final segment. Now we can have some fun here on today's show, folks. We'll do the boot. We'll do the Seahawks sauce back-to-back in just a matter of moments. But let's ask you, will the Seahawks trade Mike Jackson? T for trade, P for pass. Let us know what you think, and we'll catch up on some Super Chats here. Detail-oriented Super Chat. He sent in that 10. That's another dad joke will pay off. Detail-oriented said, Tyler, we know that let's see. I answered that in the mailbag, so I'll get Smitty's opinion on this as I take this shot. The question about Mike McDonald and play calling from Detail-oriented.
Yeah, man.
I'll take that shot, and we'll do another dad joke here in a second.
That's one of these things where it might be a little bit above my pay grade. I'm not
My
sure.
idea was something has to be going wrong.
I was going to say, yeah, like I feel like the only reason they would do that is if something is wrong, as I was at the wrong Super Chat Detail-oriented. I don't think that there's any way this happens, and I'm not sure that I want it to happen. Aden Durde, AD, has not been a defensive coordinator yet in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken. And
right.
Mike McDonald obviously has. He's accustomed to making these play calls on that side of the football. I'd imagine that things would be very wrong. Like we would look at this as like, okay, do we have the wrong guy at the head coach position if he can't even handle the defense?
Right.
Like that's where I'm at with the whole thing. I never thought about this being a possibility unless things were in full disaster mode.
All right, another dad joke here for you.
Go to you.
Why shouldn't you tell secrets in a cornfield?
Ooh. Why shouldn't you tell secrets in a cornfield? Because I don't know.
Too many ears.
Too many ears. Son of a... I should have got that.
Too many ears. All right, so I'm going to go get the boot ready. I'm going to go get the Seahawks sauce as well. While I do that, every $5 super chat will add a shot to the boot as well.
Oh, boy. Every $5 super chat, we're adding shots.
All right, Smitty's going to take over for a moment.
Take over for a moment here.
I'll get the materials ready here in just a bit. Smitty takes over. Let's see how many shots I'll have when I come back.
What up, y'all? What up? What up? Ask away. What kind of questions you got for me? If you throw that on a $5 super chat, you add a shot to the boot coming up. Seahawks sauce boot back-to-back. Oh, my goodness. Everybody having a good day? Everybody having a fine Wednesday? No football on. Nobody's watching the UFL. Come on now. NBA playoffs. Conference finals are up. Who are we rooting for? What up, Kaysen? How we all doing? I'm a Celtics fan. I'm not sure if you guys know this. Most of you probably do. I work on our Celtics channel here at Chat Sports. And I'm watching my guys get slandered every day when they win basketball games. It's not pretty. The only team out there that this happens to are my Boston Celtics. But we move up 1-0 on the Pacers. You guys ready for this TJ boot? Tyler Jones boot coming at you because we got the $200 in super chats. We appreciate everybody so much who has not only super chatted but come into the stream, hung out with us for a little bit, listen to our nonsense, and like the video, commented, be a part of the chat, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. We appreciate you guys. Jackson Jones saying, Celtics have the easiest walk to the finals ever, bro. Well, you can say that, but the best ability is availability. We know that well on the football field, right? Teams couldn't stay healthy. Teams couldn't withstand it. Celtics won 64 games in the regular season. They played all 82. Yeah, they had some rest days here and there, but that was because they could do it. Hey, Mark Sanchez. Shout out to you, my man, with a $5 super chat. Basketball sucks, which I don't agree with, but I miss my Sonics, but go Celtics. Shout out to you, Mark Sanchez, my guy. That'll be a shot in the boot. Justin Ramus says, I'm a huge Suns fan, but think the Celtics will win the championship. I appreciate that. Steve Studebaker says, I've not watched the NBA since the Sonics got stolen. Well, I bet you, Steve and Mark, that the Supersonics, maybe they won't call them the Supersonics, maybe they'll just call them the Sonics, they will be the next expansion team back into the NBA, and they'll get their history back. Screw the Thunder. They'll get their history back when the NBA moves back to Seattle in their next expansion. I believe it'll probably be a Vegas team and a Seattle team to move the Grizzlies back to the East, or not back to, but to the East, and that'll be the next realignment the NBA does. What's that?
Pelicans potentially.
Pelicans, yeah, Pelicans could be in the East as well. Yep, that is for sure a possibility.
Out of the Northwest Division.
Move the Thunder out of the Northwest Division, he says. Tyler's back with a boot.
How many shots?
One shot.
Okay.
One shot from my guy Marky Mark.
All right.
No funky bunch.
Baseball sucks, he says. Miss my Sonics, but go
Basketball.
Celtics. Basketball sucks. Okay.
Basketball don't suck.
The C's, pretty interesting game last night.
Yeah, but guess what? Walked out with the dub. I'm not enthused. Like, don't get me wrong. I know I've been defending them in the office all day, but I'm not enthused by like the way that they almost lost last night. I chalked it up. I think I have a tweet that's still out there saying game's over with about 4 minutes left.
All right. So here is our weapons of mass destruction. Shout out Dick Cheney.
A boot and that was wild. A boot and a Seahawks sauce back to back.
We've never done this before. We're making history.
Are we timing both together?
Oh wait, more shots coming.
Oh boy.
A lot more shots.
Four
John
of them
Smith.
coming in from John Smith, a
Four
$20
shots for
super
the
chat.
OGs. I'll never forget 64 free throws in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals against the Suns, so they could have Barkley versus Jordan matchup, and they took our team away. F the NBA all day.
Hey, listen, Sox got their finals chance. Two of them, actually, or excuse me, one of them in 95-96.
Yeah. John, I feel you. That's more shots. Keep pouring. More from Mark Sanchez.
Basketball doesn't suck. I'm just bitter.
I'm just bitter, by the way. 86
Celtics best team ever, 40-1 at home. My dad who raised me as a Celtics fan, stands by this statement as the 86 Celtics are the best that he's ever seen. Boskin saying 80s Lakers. They had some heck of matchups back then. You guys ever seen the 30 for 30 Celtics Lakers?
I'm just glad the 72-win Warriors did not win at all.
Yeah, but you measure it up, and history will measure it up to the record not coming to fruition, right? The 73-win Warriors. But the team that followed with Durant the next year, that was a better basketball team. That was the better squad.
Yeah.
So 6 total shots.
So, all right, folks. I'm thinking 40 seconds.
40 seconds.
Because the amount of liquid in a continuous clock. Once I finish one, I got to start the other.
40 seconds.
40 seconds.
I think you can do it.
For the boot and the Seahawks sauce back to back.
Stopwatches are ready.
I am going to piss so bad after this.
Okay. Please do it in the toilet.
Well, of course. Or outside.
Or outside.
I mean, there's, folks, I'm going to take a moment on this. There is no better feeling as a man than pissing behind a tree.
It is great.
It feels so free.
It does feel free. It feels like, you're not usually doing that in the winter, too, so the weather's probably nice.
I mean,
You're having a couple cold
guys
ones
in the
outside.
chat, Boskin, Mark Sanchez, John Smith, others, back me up on this. Isn't that one of the best feelings in the world, pissing outside on a tree? I mean, there's something about that. Phobia, good to see you in the chat. Sorry I'm late. Hey, we're just getting started. Boot and Seahawks sauce back to back. We're making history. Over under 40 seconds.
Like I say, when the liquid touches the lips, I will start my timer. Got my stopwatch.
Spam chug in the chat.
Spam chug in the chat.
Get those chugs going. Jackson said pissing on a campfire is even better.
I've never done that because I've always worried about how.
Aren't you putting the fire out though?
Yeah, you're putting the fire out. That's for the end of the night. But I'm just confused. Like I always get worried about. Is it gonna smell like burnt piss everywhere?
John Smith says my favorite bar in France doesn't have a men's room. We just walk around the corner, do it in the bushes.
I guess it's okay there. You can't get a. Can
Detailed Orient says Tyler just likes marking his territory. Amen to that.
Wild.
Boskin, bad idea. Bad idea. Says piss on an electric fence. My dad, as a kid, tricked my uncle into doing that.
Not a good idea?
Not a great idea. Very funny, though. Jackson says, end of the night on the coals, bro. Okay, so at the end of the night.
Yeah, end of the night.
Yeah. Put that fire out.
Phobia says under. Phobia says under the 40 seconds.
All right.
Let's get it moving.
Spam chug. Here we go. I'm
doing the play-by-play as per usual. Liquid touches the lips. Which one are we going with first? Boot or?
We're going boot first.
We're going boot first. That's smart. I think that's very smart.
All right, here we go. With 6 shots of liquor, by the way.
6 shots of liquor in there.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Boom. Here we go. Jones better call an Uber tonight. 5 seconds in. Keep it up. You got a little bit of spillage, but it's minimal. If he can get this down in under 20, he's on a great pace, and he clears it. Not even a question. About 16 and a half seconds on the boot, which is arguably record time for Mr. Jones, but he's having some trouble with the Seahawks sauce. It's a lot more in there than you might think. He's got 10 seconds left. Is he going to get it done? Down the hatch. Bang! 34-5!
Wow! Who do you think you are? I am!
34-5. What a time.
Wow.
From Tyler Jones to cap off a great Seahawks Today live show.
Oh, wow. I'm going to piss pretty bad. I can tell you that right now. Woo! John Smith, no other team has a designated chugger like the 12s. Oh, my gosh. Oh.
Man.
What do you guys think? Spam Jones. Jackson says phenomenal form.
Spam Jones.
Wow. Man. Oh, my gosh. I'm feeling that. I'm not going to lie. Smitty, I don't know how often I'll be doing that again.
Yeah, that was I didn't even bring this up. You did this yourself.
Yes, I did. Fully admit, I was not peer pressured into this. This was my idea.
Your idea.
But it may have been a bad idea.
Perhaps it was.
You know what? we're all for trying things here on Seahawks Today. John Smith says, I'm Tyler Walter Jones. I wear that as a badge of honor. I appreciate that, John Smith. Jackson says, new tradition. No. That was a one-time for today. That was a one-time for today. All right. So, one more dad joke before we sign off.
All right.
We'll go out on a high note with these dad jokes. You guys seem to love these today, so here we go, Smitty. What kind of cheese isn't yours?
That's nacho cheese!
There it is! Nacho cheese! Ha, ha, ha! All right.
All right.
On that note, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm excited, real quick, too. I'm excited about these Madden shows next week.
Everybody here with us at the end of this show better be here for our Madden streams.
Wednesday and Friday, beginning next week. Until then, for Smitty, I'm Tyler Jones. Big thanks to John Smith, Mark Sanchez, our entire crew that made this happen today. Also, don't want to leave out Detail Oriented as well, who was tremendous. Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see you next week.